Welcome once again to Toxic Femininity with Megs, Miss Sarcastic Nerd, and the Mistress of Mayhem herself, Miss Mary Mayhem.
Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to Toxic Femininity. We are so excited to kick off the show tonight because we are welcoming a brand new girl to our panel, our new permanent panelist, Megs. Megs, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone. I'm Megs.
We kidnapped her.
I willingly, you can't kidnap the willing. So I'm willingly kidnapped, kind of.
It's Stockholm Syndrome.
We did
early on.
Jack her as quickly as humanly possible. As soon as we found out, you know what, we needed to go ahead and find a permanent replacement. We snapped Megs up super quickly, bound her, gagged her, threw her in the trunk, and now she lives in the closet with Miss.
Very comfortably.
It's getting full in there, ain't it?
Do what?
Ain't it getting kind of full in there?
It is.
No, the closet is like the TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside. It's lots of room. She's like way over there.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. It's totally comfy. I leave him a bucket and everything.
Mm-hmm. I have a bowl of water with my name on it.
You know how we do. You know.
So, yes, guys, Megs is brand new to the panel, but she's got an up-and-coming YouTube channel. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do here on YouTube?
Please do.
Yes. So I started off with my blue puppet brother, Jolly. We started off doing the Jolly and Meg show on his channel, Snow Dove Music and Entertainment. That's where you can find my earlier stuff over there, and we do like reviews and little comedy stuff, and we do some live streams and stuff over there. And then I recently started my own channel on the Megs channel, so to speak, where I do reviews on shows and movies and things. Surgery, where I talk about that on there. And now I'm here with these fabulous ladies and Tom, and now we're doing some toxic femininity, and that's what we're doing now. So yeah.
We like to think of it as sort of like Tom's Angels a bit.
Yeah, no, I love it.
I gotta ask though, is you or the puppet adopted? Because I don't see the resemblance. I gotta ask. Sorry, I'm not trying to.
The puppet's adopted. He my brother, he adopted him at Disneyland. Yeah, so they got him at Disneyland before I was even born. He predates me even. So Jolly's older than I am. So he's a brother of my brother, so he's a mutual brother.
Your brother from another puppet mother?
Yeah.
I love it.
So to speak.
I love it so much. Well, we're so excited to have you here, Megs. And plus you complete the M trifecta as well. We have to have an M trifecta.
Right? I noticed that too. I was like, it's all M's. Like the M.
I had no idea what you were saying, what trifecta was, so I was about to go, and her name starts with M. And then it was like, oh.
I'm glad I'm not the only one it takes a minute to get things. So.
I take an hour. to get things.
I feel so bad.
That's almost your gimmick now, Mecca, is to have something in the beginning, because last week everybody loved your accidentally strong. So now this week's thing was your trifecta. Now it's the trifecta this week. So I wonder what next week will be.
Mrs. like, I'm accidentally empowered. We're totally going to run with that.
We loved it in the comments. Yeah.
Well, welcome everybody into the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and swing our way into our first topic for tonight. And Megs, man, she came in swinging. She was totally ready. She had herself a topic, came right up to bat, and she swung hard. So, Megs, why don't you go ahead and fill us in on that first topic you have for us tonight?
Yes. So what I was wanting to bring up was David Harbour is now, or it's been announced that he is going to be in the new Black Widow solo film that's coming out in the MCU. So he is going to join the MCU now, which I am totally okay with, because as we know, the new thing is that they're going to have an all the new thing is that it's all going to be female now. That's what they're doing to us. Is so if they're going to throw some David Harbour in there, I'm all for that. At least we're going to get some of that in there. So they
Stranger Things, right? Stranger Things.
Yeah, he's in Stranger Things. So they say here that it's official, guys. David Harbour is joining the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the highly anticipated standalone Black Widow film. As rumors swirled for months, the Stranger Things actor confirmed his participation during a panel at San Diego Comic-Con on July 20th as part as a larger cast reveal. He'll be taking on the role as Alexia, the Red Guardian, alongside Scarlett Johansson's title character. And this is coming from Yahoo Entertainment. So for those of you that don't know or don't watch Stranger Things, that's the a character from Stranger Things was Alexia. He was a character in Stranger Things. So that's all the Stranger Things fans are going.
Does he go over well? Is he a good actor, or like what are we having high anticipation for this? What are we thinking?
I'm excited. I'm like super excited. I'm super excited. Well, they're saying he's okay. So he says that he's going to be. It says in the Cold War there was a nuclear arms race, and the Americans developed all these I can't pronounce this word here. Armaments, including Can you say that?
Yeah, armaments.
Armaments.
You said it right.
Yeah. Including Captain America, Harbour said of his character during the panel. The Soviets retaliated by creating their own version called the Red Guardian, but he's somewhat different from Captain America. He's a very complicated guy, and that's what I love about him, he continued. Alexei, he's a tremendously flawed guy and also has tremendous humor and tremendous heart. Following the exciting announcement, many Stranger Things fans were quick to notice that the name similarity between sorry guys.
Similarly?
Yep, there you go. Between Harbour's new role and a beloved season 3 character, Alexei, the Slurpee-loving Russian scientist. Given how things ended for both Alexei and Harbour's character Jim Hopper, we both hope this MCU character has better luck. For the time being, we'll take the excuse to keep their Hawkins legacy.
Jeez, God.
Do what?
Oh, sorry.
No, not you. It's whoever wrote the article.
Yeah, they didn't say anything on there.
Garbage Tia. What happened to having editors? Whatever happened to just having an editor?
They didn't even say anything on there.
Well, not only that, it just dropped. Okay, I it's my fault I haven't seen season 2 yet, but come on, season 3 just dropped. Like what, 2 weeks ago, a week ago?
I haven't seen season 2 either, so I'm not really clear on I haven't seen season 1 in forever either, so I couldn't tell you what happens in the show.
Yeah, but David Harbour's character was part of the show since the beginning. Yeah, so anyway.
Yeah.
Guys, don't worry, it's all gonna get better. I promise.
So I remember his speech that he had. That was very strange and long.
I will say I am looking forward to the whole Black Widow movie. I feel like, well, it's a little late, obviously, because, she's, spoiler alert, she's dead. So it's a little late in the game. I'm not sure why we're getting this now. But at the same time, I am looking forward to it. It would have been nice to have gotten it ages ago, but I am looking forward to it. And it's nice to see that they haven't completely written men out of the picture,
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, because they just said that Rachel Weisz is going to be in it too, and I was like, okay, all right, another woman.
Yeah, dude. Did you see that earlier? The future is female.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Well, at least if they're gonna at least throw in that good hefty man, like at least they're putting in a good man in there, like.
Yeah.
I don't really understand the deal here. Like, you can't have the future is female because there is no future without both genders. So I'm not really sure why they keep pushing that. And let's just imagine here. Let's just take our imaginations out. We'll use our imaginations. And for a second, consider if they had said the future is male.
I know, it's just ridiculous.
Buildings would be on fire.
I know, it's.
Or the future is white.
Right.
Oh my God, the world.
Or the other, or vice versa. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the whole thing is not.
Hypocrisy.
I just don't understand. And look, I like Scarlett Johansson. I actually think she's got her head on pretty straight for the most part. But this
Any of us.
notion that they have to push this concept of the future is female. Well, there's no future without both of us, right? Why do they keep acting like women haven't been around and in movies and leads in movies and powerful women for ages? Why do they keep acting like none of that happened? Like none of that's happened. I don't understand. Like, let's just keep pretending that all this stuff came before never happened. It's a figment of your imagination. It never really occurred. And let's just pretend like we're taking some kind of super stride for empowerment for women here. No, you're not.
They feel like there's some sort of injustice going on when there isn't one, and I don't know, it's very strange. I can't explain it myself. I think Scarlett Johansson is being forced to say this stuff. I don't think she's saying it because she thinks it. I think that's the case for a lot of actors who are saying this stuff. At least,
well, it's the environment, I think.
Some of them are saying it because it's either because you have to or money. Those are the two things. And I think Scarlett Johansson loves acting, and she needs to protect her career, and she can't do that if the media is against her. She needs the media to promote her career.
Or she could possibly be under contract, that's a big thing of it too. She could be legally, binded to say certain things or not say certain things, that's what I've been trying to pay attention during these interviews and stuff, to see what they say,
It's what they get out of it when they say it.
Yeah.
And you can really see she doesn't really get much out of it other than keeping her career together.
Basically, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Tom.
All I was going to say is all I've said about it is her first statements were real. Her second one was pre-planned.
The publicist doing damage control. Since when is it damage to control? Since when do you need to do damage control? Because an actress makes a comment about being able to, I don't know, act.
How is that not oppressive too? It's oppressive to make her say things you want her to say. It's not, you have to say this feminist bullshit crap or we'll destroy your career. It's not female empowerment.
Isn't that silencing a woman's voice?
Pretty much. The irony of it all. We do have a super chat, ladies. Snowda Music and Entertainment. Well, that would be, of course.
Thanks, brother. My puppet brother.
Thanks, brother. $2 for the cute blonde in the stream. That's kind of weird, but okay.
Snow.
We may need to have a talk with you, sir.
We just turned Midnight's Edge into Pornhub.
Really bad Pornhub. Dark corners of Pornhub no one wants to go.
Weird puppet incest Pornhub. But anyway.
Just to stick up for Snow just a little bit, my brother calls me cutie all the time. So
well, okay.
We did say we got him at Disneyland, so we all know what happens at Disneyland. Just saying.
You get into fights and beat people up?
Yeah.
Sorry, what? I'm sorry.
We know what families do there.
So are my brothers just assholes then? Is that
your brothers are still really young. That's what it is.
Brothers are contractually obligated.
He's an older brother, so I mean.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you want to, we can go ahead and sort of skip into this next topic. If you ladies are ready, if you don't have anything else to say on this particular subject.
Yep.
All right. Well, let me go ahead and use my screen sharing skills and abilities here that that Tom has recently imparted to me. I recently learned Did you see that? Like a beast, Tom. Like a beast. I'm so excited. I've learned amazing things.
Well, then I get a scantily clad woman in my face.
Right?
She is pretty. Even I can say that.
Party.
So turns out, Trina Parks, she was the first African American Bond girl. She says that she can see a black Bond, but not a woman. Thank God, a little rationality here today, folks. Just a little bit, just a touch. Give an opportunity to hold on to our sanity. As Latrina Parks' assassin Thumper in 1971's Diamonds Are Forever says, Miss Bond doesn't have the same ring to it. Boy, are you correct. You are 110% correct on that. And look at that. Look at that sexy lady. I want to jump to the screen and go maul her. Trina says Sean was groovy, warm, and kind. And I believe that 110%. Man, that was a good looking guy back in the day. Not too bad anymore. So it says
they probably did it.
Oh, yeah, probably. Probably. Now that's progressive right there. In a move that has left Bond fans shaken and stirred, the Treasure 007 codename will pass to a woman when the secret agent leaves M16 in the next film, although his replacement will not also take on the iconic moniker. But while British actress Lashana Lynch will instead play a new character assigned Bond's agent code, there's one woman who disagrees with the twist. Trina Parks, the first Bond girl who played alongside Sean Connery as assassin Thumper in 1971's Diamonds Are Forever, says Bond should definitely be a man. Lashana is a great actress, but I don't agree with her becoming 007, Trina says. It's not about her color. A black James Bond, sure, but as a man. It's just because Bond, the spy code named 007, was written by Ian Fleming as a man. Miss Bond doesn't have the same ring to it. Trina, 71, says women take center stage. Defeating a male adversary is a welcome movie plot, and one which Hollywood has already embraced, she says. I like that, but I don't feel James Bond has to go there. It's been a tremendous franchise since the 60s, and they've always been innovators, not followers. They set a standard that has remained a classic film with a man as Bond. That's how I think it should stay. Trina praises the Bond films for helping to pave the way for more powerful ethnic roles in movies dominated for decades by white stars. She says Bond boss Albert Cubby Broccoli never once mentioned her being black, and even after the movie's release, no one made a big deal about it. Trina insists the Bond franchise has gone out of the box with black actors and women of color more than any other. In Hollywood production executives, we're looking at women who were sexually attractive to their societal circles. But Bond has been ahead of the times to present a black actress in a major role. It's commonplace to see ethnicity in all the Bonds, and of course, Naomi Harris is Miss Moneypenny and Jeffrey Wright is Felix Leiter. Current Bond Daniel Craig insisted earlier this year that everybody should be considered in casting. He said, for women and for African Americans, there should be great parts anyway, across the board. Craig's final outing as Bond will feature the most diverse cast ever, with Captain Marvel's Lynch, Blade Runner 2049's Ana de Armas, and Jeffrey Wright reprising his CIA role. But Trina admits when she landed her breakthrough part, she knew little about the 007 franchise or Connery. She laughs as she recalls her journey from the New York stage where she arrived as a modern dancer to a movie set throwing martial art moves at Sean Connery. She admits, I knew Bond movies were successful, but I didn't know who Sean Connery was. My world was Broadway. I'd never seen a Bond film. It never crossed my mind that I was about to make history. I was happy to get a job. I was happy that right after I did the film, I was doing a play in New York. So basically, this goes on to say, and it's actually a pretty long article, so we're not going to go super, super long down it. But what she does is she calls attention to the fact that one of the reasons why this is so, why James Bond was so good, was so wonderful, was that they never called attention to it, right? She says it in the article. It was never called to attention that she was black, right? She was just a strong female character. That was what they did. That was one of the reasons why it worked so well. She was beautiful. She did her part well. She was iconic, and she makes a great point. Jane Bond doesn't sound as good as James Bond. I don't want a Jane Bond, and credit for the Jane Bond idea goes to Josiah Rises. I was watching his video earlier. But yeah, I don't want a female James Bond. I don't want a Jane Bond. I don't know anybody who does. And I'm so grateful that she did this article, that she did this interview, because it brings to attention the fact that the more you call attention to these things, the less good you're actually doing. Then you girls, please feel free to jump in. I know they're talking for a while.
I love her way with words. I love everything she said, and just the way she said it was really intelligent and really with no fear of anything, but without saying anything that was insulting to anybody. She didn't say really anything that was bad, and no one's going to attack her. They can't.
Right.
Exactly. They can't.
Well, not only that, not only that, she comes from the real era of real feminists.
Right.
Who actually knew and were actually on the forefront of this whole thing. And not only that, she was a minority of a minority at that time.
Oh yeah.
So I guarantee you she's very well educated and knows her shit. And again, she was alive during this era, so she's like seeing how bad it is. You know, and go ahead.
I was just gonna say what she said about not knowing that she was gonna make history, that she was just happy to get another job, really reminded me of like Rosa Parks. She wasn't doing that thing to be progressive or anything. She needed to she had to.
There wasn't a lot of parts for Black women back then, especially that weren't, you know, in like just side roles and menial roles and whatnot. But we have a $2 super chat from Deranged Lunatic. He says, "Welcome, Megs. How are you doing?" So that's a perfect opportunity to answer that, Megs, and then give us your feeling on this whole situation.
I am doing great, actually. I'm doing very well. After I got those stitches out of my head, doing a lot better. Every day is just even better. Every night that I get good sleep, I feel better and better. Yeah, so it's amazing what a little crack of the skull can do, I guess, to relieve some pressure. So yeah, I'm very thankful for everything that the doctors did and everything my internet family has done and everything everyone has done. So I'm very thankful. And then on this article, that exactly what Miss was saying. She's very well spoken, and there's no way she could have known, you know, the impact she was having when she was doing all of this. And I I think that she was very she was right on when she was saying she's very well spoken in all of that she was writing, and no one can really say otherwise, because what are they racist to? Like, come on.
Exactly. What are you going to do about it? You can't do anything about it. This is the epitome of what you're claiming to stick on a pedestal and what you're trying to push forward, right? This is exactly what you're so determined to white knight for.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do about it? You're not going to do anything about it. You know what they are going to do. I'm going to tell you exactly what they're going to do. They're going to bury this. And I'm going to acknowledge it. They're just going to ignore that it exists. They're going to ignore all of the wisdom and truth and common sense and everything that this beautiful and legitimately brave woman is doing, right? Like, I don't like to throw that term brave around very often, but I'm sorry, to say something like what she is saying in the climate of Hollywood, knowing the kind of backlash that it can get you, is legitimately brave. I mean, Scarlett Johansson isn't willing to do it. Like, she's completely and utterly happy to backtrack and allow things to be like taken off the table even after she said it, if she's worried it's going to damage her career. Now, maybe there's no concern for a career here at 71. You know, maybe she's not too concerned about it. But what I will say is that she lived her life completely and utterly confident in the person that she is and the capabilities that she had, right? And she didn't bring race into it. And when you don't bring race into it, that's how you normalize something. That's how you make it okay and not a big deal.
But I think like she has nothing to fear here. She put her thoughts and feelings across in such a just well-spoken way, as she said, in such a really well-spoken way that you can't take what she said as an attack. You can't take it that way. And if you there's only wisdom to be taken from what she has said, and the only thing they can do is ignore it. Scarlett Johansson, I don't know if any actress at this point that's really famous right now with a career to be worried about could put what she said so eloquently
Yeah, absolutely. And I would like to touch on the notion that she brought up, that I could totally see a black man being James Bond. I actually really could. I think it was the idea of Idris Elba has been thrown around quite a bit.
That makes me happy.
Wouldn't that be great? That would work out super well, I think. The guy has oozing charm. Like, why not? I don't see a problem with that. Go ahead, Nis. I'm sorry.
Sorry. This is there are people who argue against it because he's, as designed by Ian Fleming, he is a white man. That's how he was written by the guy. So there is an argument to be said it's the same as changing any other author's character's physical description. Similar to that. So there is an argument against it, but I'm still like, I would love to see Idris Elba as Bond. That's like my own selfish thing.
I'm going to make the same statement that I made for The Little Mermaid, right? I don't think that it matters. I think that if you don't get upset over the Ancient One being cast as a white person, you shouldn't get upset as over Idris Elba if he were to be cast as James Bond, right? Like, I just don't think it matters. I think as long as the person plays the role well, right? The character is well written and the person does their best to portray the role and they do it well, then I just don't think it matters. This whole nonsense of this cultural appropriation, I think, has gotten way out of hand, and the pendulum has swung too far, right? And so people get outraged on both sides now, on either side. I think sometimes the only reason we get outraged on the sort of, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it, white side of things is because they get outraged on the other side of things, right? To just sort of prove a point. But I believe consistency is the key here, right? Idris Elba would do a fantastic job in the role. He would do wonderful. And I think, why are we looking at the color of a person's skin? It's completely incidental.
Also, he's really hot.
Go ahead.
The people are people.
Exactly. This has nothing to do with anything. The color of a person's skin literally has nothing to do with anything. So just because the other side makes a big deal out of it, that does not mean that we should make a big deal out of it. You know what I mean? And look, you're entitled to your opinion. You're absolutely entitled to your opinion. And I'm not here to undermine or demean someone else's opinion. I'm happy to listen to an argument. But for me, I stand in the place where it's like, if this is based solely on the color of a person's skin, this is completely and utterly incidental. Look, Michael Jackson went from being black to white. I don't think it mattered. Like, at the end of the day, it was still the same person.
You know, right? The other thing is about Bond is that it's the attractiveness of Bond. And Idris Elba can melt you with his eyes.
Yeah.
He is spicy. I love him. He is super attractive and would be an amazing Bond. As is attractive and as being an amazing actor.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I love him.
I'm thrilled with it. I'm absolutely thrilled with it in terms of the notion of it. I hope they do it. I really do hope they do it. Yeah, man. Like, but just keep it as a man. And for God's sake, listen to this woman. She is smart. You could take a page out of her book. Don't you want to listen to people of color? Don't you want to?
No, only if they say what they want them to say. Only if it goes along with their beliefs and standards of life. They can't, if they don't, there's something wrong with them. Or they just ignore them. The only thing they can do is ignore her. That's all they can do. They can't touch on what she said. They can't argue back on what she said. She put it really well. I love her. And she made, like, my heart hurt. I was so just, I don't know how to phrase it, supportive of her, and I want to go give her a hug.
Right? I want to go hug you, ma'am. Can I cook you some food? Please? I'll make you a sandwich.
Sandwich.
I'm going to make you a sandwich. And I would like to point out what Lorenzo, who in the chat said, he said, it's kind of weird how some people act like it's only white men that want Bond male. Absolutely. Like, it's amazing. It's an amazing concept here. But stick with me, guys. It's possible, just possible, that people might be individuals, that they could have a wide diversity of thoughts and notions running through their head that might not align with exactly what characteristics you attribute to what should be in their head just because of the color of their skin. I think there's a word for that. It's called racism.
We should do a gender swap Charlie's Angels and see how they like that.
Tom and Rob on here with one more male, and then
Chris, Tom, Rob, and Chris.
Charlena's Angels.
Charlene's Angels.
It can still be Charlie. Charlie can be a girl's name.
True. It is a gender neutral name.
What is this voodoo you speak of? I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Folk talk.
Get away from the light, Carol Ann. Sorry.
So speaking of what's on ladies' mind, I think what everybody's wondering probably the most is, I mean, these two things are kind of together. The whole situation with Valkyrie. Why don't you start there and then move into Thor: Love and Thunder?
I'm sorry. I know.
Honestly, I'm one of the few people who's kind of like, you know what? I'll give Taika Waititi a chance on this one. Wait and see at least a trailer before I totally judge it. But I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this.
Well, if you girls want to pop off, because I know I'm going to rant about the thing. I know I'm going to rant about that. And I've already got a little bit of a rant up on my channel. So I'll concede to you ladies to get your thoughts out of the way first, because I'm going to go when
to get the Valkyrie thing. Megs.
Okay. So my thoughts are, okay. I hate what they did to Thor in Endgame with making him all fat and just throwing him through the mud and doing all that to him. And then she's gonna steal his throne, and then she's gonna find her queen. What? That just in the first place, and then you're gonna make a movie about it. What? That's my response on that. And
yeah. Pretty much. It was sort of like a big middle finger to Thor to be like, not only are you a fat, sad sack of shit, but you also don't get to be king, asshole.
Yeah. And all you do is play Fortnite all day.
Now Thor's female. You're nobody. Fuck you. Goodbye.
Yeah,
pretty much
what happened. Being at the end of Thor Ragnarok, where he takes his place on the seat as like the throne or whatever, like he's ready to lead and rule his people. Like that's where you left us. Never mind all that. Like that didn't matter, guys. That didn't even count.
Well, to be fair, he didn't want to be king. He wanted to be an Avenger.
They wrote that.
He gave it over to Valkyrie, and that part I will just say. And then as far as the Valkyrie thing, on my personal feelings on that, I don't really care because I kind of figured she was anyway because she's a Valkyrie and all she did was hang out with super women. So who else was she gonna bang?
Right.
I want to know. I do actually take issue with the title of king. Okay, so let's just follow me down the rabbit trail here for a second. Follow me down the rabbit trail. Okay, hold on. Get my tinfoil hat. Okay. So, look, here's my issue. You want to empower women, right? You want to put women on a pedestal. You want to make us feel like we can do whatever it is that we want to do, right? But the minute you stick a woman in power, you give her a male title because she has to have a male title to be as powerful. What the heck is wrong with you? We have a ruling queen of England sitting on the throne doing a job, like why would you disempower the feminine title? Why would you do that? Why would you hand her a male title? I mean, don't we lose our minds over pronouns and stuff these days?
Right.
Like,
are they so important? They're so important or non-important, or are they important? Are they not important? You like lose your brain cells over these things. Seriously.
Yeah.
You get whiplash. You get complete and utter whiplash from them jerking you around all over the place, treating you like, okay, well, right now we have to empower women by making sure that they can do all the same stuff men can do, right? But instead of allowing them to do it as a female, because there's a difference. Women are not just men in skirts, right? Rather than allowing a woman to be empowered in her own right and with the feminine title, let's give her a male title. What are you doing right now? I'm sorry. That was the beginning of a rant. I'm dialing it back.
No. It's called toxic femininity for a reason. Get toxic.
Be toxic. Hashtag be toxic. Make t-shirts, Tom.
Maybe.
I want the lipstick on there.
Maybe.
If we make t-shirts, I want lipstick on there. I don't give. Look, if we don't get lipstick, I walk.
just write toxic femininity with lipstick and then give it a kiss like the smooch thing right underneath it. Send it to me and I'll try and make that the logo.
Wow. I'm all on board right now. No, like, I just don't understand this. It makes no sense. You made her king in order to empower a woman. You gave her a male title.
Yeah.
I don't know why they think that's progressive. It's the dumbest thing.
Yeah,
I've
that thing is a
heard.
little silly. Yeah, but
The title of queen does not have less power than the title of king. They're
Nope.
not. There's no difference.
Nope. Let's just call Thor Queen Thor.
I mean, I remember there being an issue differentiating between actor and actress. You had to call them actresses. You couldn't call them actors.
Acting.
Well, I guess she's an actor now. Well, I'm not calling people actresses anymore. I'm not differentiating. They're actors.
I generally don't. I really
know, but I met this crazy ass girl. I'm sorry to break it off here, but she was all like, they're actresses. It's offensive to call them actors because they're women and they're actresses.
Unless I'm specifically directly talking about somebody, like if I said Scarlett Johansson is an awesome actress, then I would say it. But otherwise, I generally just use the blanket term or the general term actors. You know,
right.
Yeah. So it's
you know what I mean. It's the word describes the same thing. It's just gendered.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is a lot of it's like, oh, if it has anything that's remotely gender biased in the name, they freak out over it. I know, and I loved hearing you girls go back and forth there because we've said that I don't know how many times on After Dark too. How it's so funny how for years it was don't label me, and now it's like acknowledge my label. You know,
yeah.
Like, what? Make up your fucking mind. You're all worse than women. You know.
What do you even
Didn't mean that to sound the way it did, but it is. It's like, you know, like the typical like girlfriend who can't make up her mind is what I mean. The stereotype.
For dinner, I don't know.
Yeah, what do you want for dinner? Whatever you want's fine, honey. Well, okay, let's go have Taco Bell.
But what do you want?
Well, what do you want? You don't want Taco Bell. You know, I said something, and you know, but I don't want Taco Bell. I don't know what I want, but I don't want Taco Bell.
Anything but Taco Bell.
See, that's what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
We could go to Red Lobster. Oh no, man, I'm not feeling.
I can't afford that shit.
No, and I will kind of segue us into, because like I said, I was going to rant on it, but I want to give you girls an opportunity to touch on the bisexual aspect of it, which is comics accurate, and that's fine. That's fine, but they're making this huge announcement about it. So before I lose my,
I feel like who's not bisexual these days? It's more like who's not, you know.
I'm trying not to read into that, Megs, but
I'm not.
Mrs. Shut Me
No,
Down.
but you know, like in all, like really, like if you can't watch a movie these days and not have like a character, or you know, for real though, like it's everywhere. If they're trying to be unique or special, they're not. You know.
My big issue with it is that they keep pointing it out, right? Like it's this giant ordeal. Like a king needs to find her queen. Well, first of all, honey, you're not a king. I don't care what they called you. If you have the JJ between your legs, you're a queen, sweetheart.
Right.
And right. I mean, like, short of being, you know, a queen, you know, like that's the only way that this works for you, right? So you're not a king, but I see what you were trying to do. You were trying to be witty. You were trying to be funny, and maybe it would have worked if we didn't live in the climate that we live today, where everything is supercharged and everything is ridiculous and over the top, and you have to push these narratives like they matter somehow. Going out to find her queen, but instead of going out and making this huge announcement, your character is at bare minimum bisexual. I don't think she's a lesbian, mainly because of the sort of sexual tension that they have between Valkyrie and Thor, and they have between there was even some between you know, Hulk and Valkyrie to some extent as well. I don't think they're going to make her a straight lesbian because it wouldn't really make sense in terms of continuity, but just pushing this notion that because she's bisexual, that's the reason we should go see the movie is so insulting And I'm gonna pull out my bisexual card here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in since that's what we're doing. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my LGBTQ status into the ring here, and I'm going to lay it out on the line. Stop it. It is insulting. I'm not a circus freak here for you to sit there and point at so you can get points. It is so incredibly infuriating to act as though that has anything to do with anything. It is incidental and doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But you had to go out there and put it on a podium and act like we should give a flying. Well, I don't. I don't care, Valkyrie, because your character, in my opinion, has no business being ruler of Asgard or the Asgardians. Because I don't know enough about you to know whether or not you'd even be a good ruler. I don't care whether or not you took over. You've never made me care about this character, really. Not really. You had some screen time in Thor Ragnarok, and now you're the king of Asgard? And now you want me to care because you're bisexual. I don't. Make a good character or don't bother. I do not appreciate this nonsense that because you point at a person's sexuality, that somehow justifies anything at all. At all. It is so annoying. It is not just annoying, it's insulting and degrading because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. Why are you acting like that somehow indicates that we should root for her? What if she's a dick? What if she's a dick? What if I don't like her? I'm just saying. I know. That was a rant. Probably everybody's super uncomfortable now. But it does piss me off.
No, not at all. Actually, I'm turned on.
It just infuriates me because I don't appreciate being pointed at like I have some kind of harm coming out of me.
And I've said that before. It's like their whole circus freak thing. It's like people are being paraded out and exploited, and it's bullshit. And it's the thing that we've stood on this channel a long time as far as we don't like to get into political bullshit, but if you're going to shove it in our face in our entertainment, don't expect some blowback. I mean, don't not expect some blowback, however you want to put it. Sorry. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I agree. It's completely exploitive. And that's another big point for me. It's completely and utterly exploitive. Because you, Marvel, you don't care about gay people. You know what you care about? Your pocketbook. That's what you care about. And your ability to stand on a podium and say, go see this movie or you're a bigot. Go see this movie or you don't care about gay people. Well, guess what? I am a gay person and I don't give a I really don't. And if anything, you've made me care less. I was actually excited for this movie because I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok. And now I got to sit there with this in the back of my mind that you pointed at me like I was some kind of circus freak in order to gain points, to essentially guilt people into going to see your movie. I got to sit there with that in the back of my mind now when I go see this. And I'm sorry, but it kind of wrecks the film for me. It kind of wrecks it. Because I feel like you used me. I feel like you used people like me. I feel like you used people who care about me. Just in order to get their butts in the seat and manipulate their wallet books. And that makes me so angry. Because you either care for me as a person or you don't. And my sexuality shouldn't come into the factor. It just shouldn't come into it. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody. Because what I do in my bed is no one else's business.
Exactly.
Sorry. I know I ranted.
No, you're good. You're good.
That was a long one, and I apologize. But it does tick me off to no end. It really does. It really ticks me off. Although I do like the name Love and Thunder. I know everybody's cringing, but I'm sitting there going,
I need to get a couple of flags with Mary Mayhem on them so I can wave them after she rants.
No. None of that. All right, I'm turning the camera.
And a hat.
I feel weird.
No!
Finger.
Yeah, foam finger. I need all the things.
Foam finger.
When
I'll
she
get the flags. I'll get the foam finger.
Yeah.
I will mention one that says F the gays. Because you can take that so many ways.
Yeah.
We do need to get into the whole Lady Thor.
Yes, we do. Oh my god, I hate Natalie Portman. That's my stance. I hate her.
I did
You
like
hate
her.
Luke and Leia's mama?
I'm sorry not to.
You know what it makes me hate about her the most is that she didn't come back to the Thor movies because I thought she hated the role. But now she's back so that she could be female Thor. That selfish bitch. You're an actress. You don't get to pick your roles, you dumbass. I hate her. She's just another feminist who's just doing things because she's Brie Larson but old. Really old. I hate that woman. She's stupid.
Trying not to get mad at that because I don't think she's much older than. She may not even be older than me.
No, she's old in the sense that she's acting old.
She gave her life to give us Luke and Leia. Come on.
I don't care. She was fine then. She was perfectly fine then. Her mouth was pretty damn shut back then. Now she won't shut up. Now this is me ranting. Get your foam finger out for me.
Okay.
There must be something going on in her head these days. I don't know. She used to be pretty cool. She did Natalie's rap with the Lonely Island back in the day, which was like the most funniest thing ever.
Yeah.
It was like, I love that. It was I used to be able to recite that. But she must be like smoking crack or something these days. I don't know. I don't know what she's doing these days. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, I want to know why. First of all, I want to know why it is that they're dragging her back into this. I get it; it's in the comics.
I'm not dragging her.
Well, you know what I mean, though. Like, I know what you mean, but you know what I mean. Like, they're dragging Jane Foster, the character, back into this. I get that it's comics accurate, but you've ignored a lot of things in the comics so far, Marvel. And I don't really understand why you're bringing this character back, a character who no one was sad to see go. Like, literally, no one was like, "Oh, what happened to Jane?" No, that didn't happen. That never came out of anyone's mouth.
Where'd she go?
Hey, you guys seen Jane lately? Been worried about her. No, that never happened.
They mention her a couple of times throughout the movies just to acknowledge her existence.
No one in the audience was sitting there going, "Wonder what Jane Foster's been up to." No one did that.
I don't remember.
No, they tied up some loose ends, and while they were tying them up, we were going, "That's great. Get on with the other stuff."
Yeah.
Like, exactly. We were done with her. We had no interest in her, and to bring her back just feels like a blatant woke maneuver.
I feel like they really wanted Natalie Portman, or something. Either they really wanted Natalie Portman, or Natalie Portman's like, "I'm not coming back into your MCU movies unless you cast me as female Thor." Mm-hmm. Like one of those two things happened. And they either wanted her so bad they were like, "Okay, well, you come back or we let you be female Thor," or she threatened that she wouldn't come back unless they let her be female Thor. So one of that happened.
Well, technically it's Mighty Thor.
She's like, "I'm not leaving until I hold it."
Right?
Let me touch it.
Do you see the amount of how much I care right here? That it's Mighty Thor.
Exactly 0 F's to give. I don't understand why they're bringing this character back. And I do want to touch on, because we were discussing this earlier in the chat, about the notion that the Thor thing is a title, right? Let me ask you something. You're sitting there watching Thor, and you think of Thor, you think of this tall, blonde, muscly beefcake that you want to pour chocolate syrup on and lick off of the abs. That's what you think of when you think of Thor, right? Because that is Thor. It's his name. I understand in the comic books that they use it as something of a title, right? And that he can revert to being called Odin's son. But no one wants that. That is his name. We've been calling him Thor for ages. And we're not going to start calling Thor Odin's son. It's weird. It's like when your brother gets a name change and everybody in the family keeps forgetting to use it, right? Like, It's no one wants to do that. It's weird. It's awkward. And I can't imagine why they're doing this. I'm not going to start calling Jane Foster's character Thor while Thor is sitting over there in the corner with this flabby belly in his beard.
Playing Fortnite.
Tom's sitting over there like, they're getting that wrong. They're getting things wrong.
Well, no. That fat Thor is actually part of this storyline. Like the whole baby Thor storyline. So this has actually been in motion before Endgame. So that's the only thing I can't say was like, yeah, it wasn't just Natalie Portman's got a contract. They brought her character up when she hasn't been there a couple times. I had a feeling she would come back just like what's her face as Pepper. Because even though she talked a lot of shit, I knew sooner or later she'd come back or they wouldn't keep talking about her. So it was just a matter of time. And if I had known sooner, I would have seen this coming a mile away. I don't know how so many people didn't, because I guess Fat Thor was, like I said, a dead giveaway that this was on its way. Instead, everybody was just pissed off about him being fat instead of actually paying attention to what was on the horizon. So, yeah.
Why do we have to do that to a character? Why do we have to destroy a male character in order to raise up a female?
Yeah.
Why do we have to do that? It's so infuriating to me.
Well, and it's not just in females. I mean, people will hate me for saying this, but they did the same thing in like Into the Spider-Verse. And people will hate me less for saying this and The Last Jedi, because even though that one is kind of for a woman, but not really. It was just tearing Luke down in general. I mean,
well, yeah, but we didn't enjoy that either.
Right.
Nobody wanted that. And I would say I would kind of clash with you a little bit on that, Tom, in terms of the Into the Spider-Verse, because they made it very clear that this was a multiverse thing, and they even introduced Peter Parker as being basically
as a white fat schlub.
Well, and also
do anything anymore, and had to teach Miles how to be the super Spider-Man. Yeah, we're the only ones who noticed that, but everybody else gets pissed at us for noticing.
Well, no. They also introduced him as being amazing within Miles Morales' own universe, right? Like he had everything going for him there. He had everything going for him. He was wonderful, and he literally sacrificed his life to save.
He came from a place where he screwed up his marriage, screwed up being Spider-Man, all this other crap was basically at the end of the line. But that's my point. But everybody kind of looks over that point when Rob and I bring it up because they enjoyed the movie. Yeah, the movie's enjoyable, but again, it still doesn't change the fact that they do the same thing to Peter Parker in a way. So anyway,
but he gets fixed at the end, though. If you compare it to
not really, because Miles has to come save the day.
Well, I think that undermines to some extent the sacrifice made by Peter Parker in Miles Morales' universe, right? Like he died making that sacrifice. I don't think it was to undermine him. If anything, they highlighted that sacrifice and that it was sort of the catalyst for Miles. Right.
No, when you're talking about the one from the other universe, the Peter Parker who had screwed up his life and was this fat schlub.
I get your opinion, but the other problem with it is they made Miles even more like Peter Parker at the same time. That's the other part that was the rub to Rob and I, because they changed bits of his story to make him sync up more like Peter Parker, to make his uncle die, to all that kind of crap.
I just don't think you should do it at all. I don't think you should ever undermine or undercut a character in order to promote another. Or unless that character wasn't always meant to be that way, right?
Yeah.
But Thor was never meant to be like Thor was Thor. We grew to love him, and it's exactly like what they did to Luke, actually. Cutting him down, degrading him, turning him into a fat slob, an alcoholic, a gamer with no direction, a pointless character essentially, who does nothing but screw up. Or in order to raise up mighty Thor, Jane Foster, a character who I have never cared about, just because she's a woman. Because what is the problem with allowing Thor to move forward? We were all itching and gearing up for a reboot, right? Like we got Thor Ragnarok, and we were excited to sort of revamp this character and start sort of fresh with him, right? Instead, immediately after revamping his character and turning things around with him, you essentially nerf the crap out of him and hand his hammer to a chick. Why? I can't.
I haven't read the comics. So I'm seeing all of this happening from just a moviegoer's perspective. I haven't read the comics. I'm not aware of what's allowed and what's not, as according to the comics. But I don't get how she becomes Thor. That bothers me a little bit, but it's comic stuff, I guess. I just don't get it. But I really think his character was emasculated, despite you saying that it's in the comics as well. There could have been a way of going about it where you incorporated stuff from the comics without seriously making him into this loser.
Mm-hmm.
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
And as for Natalie Portman becoming Thor, there's a part of me that doesn't give a shit, and then there's the part of me that hates Natalie Portman and thinks she's doing it just because she's pretty much Brie Larson. She's a brunette Brie Larson.
But she's been in the game. She was Padme and Queen Amidala, and you gotta kind of have like some little bit of love for her because she's been in it for a minute. So I don't know.
I have a love for the characters that she has played. I don't have a love for her.
True.
I can completely separate her from the characters that she has played.
That's where me as a person, I have trouble because I fall in love with like the actor, and then like I have yeah.
I totally get that. I'm not going to chastise anybody who loves Natalie Portman. I mean,
I don't love her.
Well, and I don't put this completely on Natalie Portman either.
Right? Yeah, that's true because she probably signed the contract. But would you think that was like included still?
See the smug ass smile on her face when she was holding the hammer.
She does look pretty happy about it.
She was very happy about it. It wasn't like, oh my god, they're forcing me to be here. Yeah, she didn't look like they had kidnapped her. She hated being in the Thor movies until she got to hold the hammer.
Yeah, she does look pretty pleased with herself.
Yeah, and we know that she is in the comic books, or at least I'm well aware that I'm well aware of Jane Foster being in the comic books, of her being Mighty Thor. Yeah. Like she's a blonde in that. She has cancer, and then like the hammer itself like brings the cancer back every time. I'm well aware of the arc, right? Like I get it. But I'm talking about we're talking about this from a movie aspect, right? We're talking about looking at this from a Marvel cinematic aspect. You've left lots of stuff out that were in the comics, right? You have an established character with Thor that literally just got a reboot. He just got revamped. Why are you going about undermining that? And I feel like they've been doing this for a while. They've been trying to prep for this for a while to start sort of gearing this in a female direction. The future is female. Like I feel like they've been setting us up for this for a while. And I'm not happy about it. I was happy with Thor. Why couldn't you have given him a satisfying ending like you did Iron Man, like you did Captain America? Why couldn't you have treated him with some measure of decency and respect? Why does this character get the shaft so that you can bring a female up into the ranks and stick her ahead of him? Why can't Thor go out in a blaze of glory? You just made me care about him again. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, and it's still that idea. We've talked about this before, that women can't have male role models in these movies. Like, they're making female versions of characters because I can't connect to male Thor or any of the other male characters in your movie. It's very, I don't know, they're just hurting my brain with their ridiculous stuff they're putting out there now. I don't care for Phase 4. I'm probably not going to watch any of the movies that they're going to be coming out with, especially not Natalie Portman's Thor. I don't have an excited bone in my body for that woman or her movie.
No, I think we've probably ran.
Well, I was going to say, if I can bring up the mood just a little bit, the thing about Thor is he's almost immortal. Mm-hmm. So I have a feeling they plan on keeping him around the MCU for a very long time. So hopefully this is just a speed bump. Like he's going to get back in shape. He's going to be in Guardians 3 probably. I had a feeling like they maybe Taika Waititi will have some fun with this I trust him a lot. Everything I've seen of his is amazing, and I love Thor Ragnarok, so hopefully he brings that same humor to the table. And even like Spider-Man, a lot of people have a hard time complaining about the SJW isms in that because they even play with it a little bit and have fun with it. Like you got the one scene where, you know, MJ's like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure I have value" or whatever, and she's like, "No, I'm just kidding," you know. So they even poke a little fun at it there.
Well, yeah, and they even did it in Ragnarok too, where he was like,
Right.
"Warrior women about time." Like that was funny. That was legitimately funny. I was excited too when I heard about Taika Waititi doing this.
He might even take it that point. He might even say all the things that we're worried about might be exactly what he pokes fun of in the movie too. I want to reserve my judgment till if I see the first trailer and it's exactly what everybody is complaining about and expecting it to be from the comic version, then I'll be right there next to you guys and say I was wrong, or at least I was wrong for not believing you guys in the first place.
Hashtag believe women, Tom.
And yeah, I don't think
it's everybody
about
in general.
bully.
It's everybody in general, because like Andre and I are like the only two people that I've come in contact with that have talked about this with me and have not totally felt the same way you guys do. And I totally understand it. And I'm afraid of it, but at the same time, I trust that the people involved are not going to totally ruin this. But then again, I could be wrong.
Before we move on,
I hope not. Go ahead, miss.
I just want to say something funny, which is the title, the Love and Thunder thing, sounds like an album. It sounds like the name of an album. It sounds like Thor is putting out an album. Thor the musical. Just saying.
Musical. Love and Thunder. I actually quite love it. I quite love the freaking title. Mainly, honestly, because the only thing I can say in my defense for loving this title of the movie is that it makes me do this. That's all it makes me do.
Also makes me think of like the 80s.
Right. Which is like straight up Taika Waititi's like style, man. Like he'll rock it out, man. It's gonna be but I feel like for all of the amazingness that is Taika Waititi, it's hard to ignore these blatant, glaring red flags, right? These feel like enormous red flags to put up right in front of a movie. And I have a tendency to think that it's going to be validated within the movie. I wish they just hadn't said anything. You know, I just wish they hadn't said anything about the whole finding your queen aspect. I really wish they hadn't said anything about it, because I probably would have been thrilled to have just it in the movie, like I was with Deadpool. You know, like when I watched Deadpool 2 and it turned out that Negasonic Teenage Warhead was gay. When I discovered that within the film, I was thrilled. I was like, yes. And it made sense. That, of course, she never said anything about it to anybody because she would have been like, "Goff, it's none of your business," right? Like that was her character. Why couldn't I have just done it like that? Why couldn't I have just happily stumbled upon it in the film rather than you using using people's status as LGBT as a podium for which you can stand up?
Publicize it. Why do they have to publicize it to try to, pull audience? It's stupid. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. And I just feel like if they're going to do this thing with Jane Foster, they better do it damn good, because otherwise it's going to feel like a punch in the gut to Thor fans. You better do it damn well.
Honestly, I feel like if anybody else was playing female Thor, I'd be a little less angry.
Just because it's Natalie Portman, it's like an extra stab in the gut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, mainly because she doesn't give a shit. She's never once conveyed to me while she was on screen that she gave 2 flying Fs about this film franchise. Not for a second. And sitting there talking about, I have hammer envy. Sweetheart, you don't have anything in you. You don't feel anything. You look like as much of a plank of wood as Brie Larson has ever looked like on the screen when you're playing Jane Foster. Convincing me you care would take some legitimate acting.
Right.
Which I haven't seen out of you in a while.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Hate is a strong word, but it completely fits my feelings towards that woman. I hate her.
I don't hate Natalie Portman. I just don't see the point in bringing this character back, played by this person, in this way. I was completely content with her being gone, but now you're bringing her back, and my give a shit meter is busted. Like, my give a damn is completely and utterly busted. I do not care.
Yeah. She's done things, like she's done weird feminist things that have pissed me off. So that's where I am with her.
Yeah.
Which, like, she was bitching about a director not being a female in a movie she was in and other things. She's a bitch. And I hope that she doesn't piss off Marvel fans. I'm not the biggest Marvel fan. I'm more of a DC person. But DC's dead.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. Aquaman was awesome. We got Wonder Woman 1984 coming.
I just watched Shazam.
Yeah, I like Shazam too.
Okay.
We did get rumor today that J.J. Abrams will be directing a Superman and a Green Lantern movie.
No!
Why do you think he went to Warner Brothers? He wants to get his claws into just about everything.
Would that man just stop? No.
He's gonna ride this thing out. Are you kidding?
Hollywood is already screwed up, okay?
I'm sorry, everyone. You thought you were gonna get a good Green Lantern movie.
No.
Well, I think when they said Tom Cruise was possibly going to be involved,
Oh, no.
Another Green Lantern.
By J.J. Abrams. Bring the Ryan Reynolds one back. Just replay it. Put it back in theaters. I'd rather see that shit.
Now, hold on. Let's not jump the shark.
Yeah, let's not get drastic here.
I would rather see that. JJ, no.
Next thing you know, you're going to be talking about bringing back fucking Affleck as Daredevil, and shit's going to get crazy.
Oh, God, no. No.
Okay. I won't go that far.
PTSD. Okay. No.
Speaking of, though, that's like a perfect segue into something that Miss wanted to talk about, which I'm sure we'll talk about even more on the regular podcast as well. But funny, the other day when we were talking on the Marvel panel on the main channel, almost spilled my drink there. No, I'm not drunk either. I predicted a few things, or at least said that I kind of knew a few things about what was going on with Blade behind the scenes. And I said we would hear from Wesley Snipes this week about his participation or lack thereof and what the situation was. And lo and behold, what happened today. So anyway, that's going to segue. I'm not going to say much more because I'll have more to say about it on the regular show probably. I'm just going to let you ladies kind of go off. And unless I have anything I can throw in there or add that I actually know about, which I kind of do, or I think I can say something about, I will do so. Otherwise, I'm going to shut up for now.
Well, Miss, why don't you go ahead and fill us in?
Welcome to the world where Wesley Snipes is not playing Blade in the new Blade movie that they're planning on making. I don't like this world. But hey, I don't get a say anymore. Anyway, Wesley Snipes is okay with the fact that he won't play the latest iteration of Blade, and y'all should be too. I hate this article already. At least that's the word from the actor who personified the half-vamp, half-mortal vampire hunter. That's bad English. Go away. Marvel's successful original franchise. Certain vocal fans were a little upset that Marvel chose 45-year-old, I can't pronounce that, to play the Daywalker in their cinematic universe. But 56-year-old, what?
Mahershala Ali.
You know what? You don't need to show off all the time, man.
Sorry.
But 56-year-old Snipes seemed excited about seeing what the actor can do with the character he made famous. I hate this and don't care at the same time. I love Blade. Blade is one of my favorites. I think it goes Riddick is number one and then Blade. And Wesley Snipes was an amazing Blade, but we all know what happened when we were worried about other people playing other characters, like what's his name who played the Joker? I said Heath Ledger. Couldn't remember his name. So maybe it will be good. I don't know. But I'm like, Wesley Snipes is the only Blade I'll ever know, is my current stance. But I am open to change.
Are you, miss? Are you?
A little tiny bit. Just a little whittle. What do you girls think?
I'm actually pretty okay with it.
I know you all are.
I know. You're gonna get a little look. I liked Wesley Snipes and Blade. Look, and that's coming from a person. To be fair, I'm just gonna lay myself out there. I'll bear for you guys to scrutinize. I saw Blade. I believe it was a trilogy. I saw it, and I've seen the first one more than once. I think I've seen it like maybe 3 times, but it's been many years. I liked Wesley Snipes' Blade. I thought he did a great job. He made me enjoy the movie, and he still looks great for his age. But at the same time, Herschel Ali is quite capable of this. I think he's a good cast, and there's not a whole lot in terms of movies that are coming out for Phase 4 that I'm super stoked for. Like Blade is really the only one that I'm actually particularly after the Thor stuff coming to light that I'm looking forward to. The rest of the stuff that I think is going to be good is going to be on Disney Plus. And so I'm not willing to throw away the only one that
No. I love Blade. I love the idea of seeing another Blade movie because they haven't done them in a while. I just sort of have like but Wesley Snipes kind of thing happening with me.
I mean, he's so old. He's not. I mean, like, of course they're gonna recast him. You can't.
I mean, they could recast him, but could they recast him as like younger? Do a younger Blade movie? Like, could they do a prequel? Like, do they have to continue the story without Wesley Snipes?
I think it'll be fine. I think look, let's just be honest here, right? Let's be bare bones honest. With the exception of Captain Marvel, most of the vast majority of the MCU has been damn good. We're pretty terrified of obviously moving forward because of all these announcements, the future is female and all of that nonsense. But look, Kevin Feige has a pretty great track record for making good movies, right? At the end of the day, I don't really care if there's diversity in a film, or if there are women who empower in a film, so long as you're not acting super woke about it, so long as you're not doing it for the sake of diversity, or at least bare minimum giving me a good film while you're doing it, right? Like, I don't want to think about it while I'm watching the movie. Don't lobotomize me while I'm watching the movie for the sake of pushing your woke politics. That's the only place I land on. And I don't see them doing that with Blade. It's just not, it doesn't lend itself to it. So
I'm just nostalgic and sad, I guess, but
Mrs. Butthurt.
maybe. I will not say the movie's going to suck because Wesley Snipes is not in it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just, don't force me to be happy about Wesley Snipes.
She's being loyal to Wesley Snipes, and that's understandable.
Yeah.
Don't force me to be happy about this.
No,
I love him.
You don't have to be happy. I think we're all a little salty.
If Riddick got recasted, there would be no more Miss. Miss would explode.
Well,
okay.
So yeah, and it looks like, and Joker 79 is correct. I did read that. It looks like phase 4 is only going to be like 2 years long. And I think we should count our blessings for that, guys, because I really think this is just a test. I honestly think they're testing the waters for all this woke stuff and seeing how it pays off for them, right? I think they're going to see what happens with the next few years. I think if we stick to our guns on some of this stuff and don't go see the crazy woke stuff, I think we might see this come to an end relatively quick, right? Like I really feel like we have a chance of salvaging the MCU possibly. So I'm not going to go see Thor Ragnarok. Bare minimum opening weekend, maybe not second weekend. I may find other methods for seeing the movie so I can review it.
I may be meeting someone in a parking lot.
Go talk to Fatal J for his $4.99 bootlegs.
in a trench coat and a fedora.
In the back of a van.
In the
with
back of a
a
van.
funny smelling hammock stuffed into the corner. So yeah, I think we might still have a shot at salvaging the MCU if we stick to our guns on some of this stuff. Not that I would ever suggest anyone do anything questionable.
Don't go doing anything illegal.
We would never suggest that.
No.
Toxic Femininity does not endorse the notion of doing things that are not legal. So with that disclaimer out of the way.
Unless you really, really want to.
And if you do, don't get caught.
Don't get caught. Just in brackets, like, we do not endorse anything that is illegal.
I'm curious if Megs is better.
Don't get caught.
How does Megs feel about Wesley Snipes chiming in on this? Over there.
I think it hurts so bad.
We broke Megs.
We've broken her. She needs to go get surgery again.
No. We have
Was that a bad joke?
You're muted, Megs. You're still muted, honey.
There I am. The kid fell off the bed. My bad.
Oh,
no. Hope everything's okay.
We're all good. She's good. She's a strong one. She's 3.
Oh, yeah.
You
Oh,
can do
they're still
anything.
bouncy at that age.
False alarm. False alarm.
Yeah, they're still bouncy at that age. You're good.
Yeah, no, yeah, we're all
You
good.
could throw them against a wall, they'll be fine.
Yeah, no, well, kind of. Depends on how hard the
Midnight
wall.
Legend Toxic Femininity does not endorse throwing your children at the wall.
Not your children, other people's children.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, make
Matter.
sure it's not yours.
And while I have the stage, I will say Nelson Sharita, yes, thank you. A $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Brie Larson versus Natalie Portman Steel Cage death match. Who's with me?
Yes. Can they both die? Sorry.
Does it consist of them trying to woke each other out?
Each other. I woke that bitch till she couldn't fucking breathe.
Can I go in a cage with both of them? It's no secret that I'm a country girl and I have no qualms with,
Is that what they'll do? They'll sit there and go back and forth at how woke each other are and try to see who's the wokest. It'd be like the most boring death match ever.
Just take the hand mirrors they have in their hands as they stare at themselves and beat them with them.
This is so dark. No, but I did want to get Meg's thoughts on the
I was just going to say, Megs, what's your thoughts on this whole thing?
Repeat that, sorry.
For Wesley Snipes not being in Blade.
Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad that Wesley Snipes is not going to be here. Or not going to be in the new Blade, because it's not going to be Blade without Wesley Snipes. It's not. And the fact that they're going to, they can't, it's not going to be Blade. It's not going to be Blade without Wesley Snipes. And I'm just very, very upset.
R.I.P. Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, no, and he could still do it. He could still do it. I'm sure he could still do it. I mean, how many other people have still been in movies and everything?
I have a feeling he doesn't want to.
Right, that could be it. It could be a little much for him. I mean, I understand that, but then just don't redo it. It's not that old of a movie, like, why remake it?
It's pretty old now.
Movie. You don't need to remake it.
It's pretty old now. We're talking it back, I think it came out in, the late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah.
So we're talking about roughly 20-year-old movie. So I can see why they might want to remake it at this point.
I was a baby.
I get what you're saying, but I also feel like Mahershala Ali is probably a pretty great cast for this. In terms of if you're gonna do anybody besides Wesley Snipes, I feel like he's okay. And we never thought that anybody would be able to play Superman, besides Reeves. So I feel like it's possible, and so I don't know. I'm okay with it. So, but you're entitled.
We'll have to see.
You're entitled to your opinions, ladies. Beautiful thing about diversity of thought, which is the only diversity that matters. I will stake my claim on that. Is you're allowed to think different stuff than other people, and you can still be friends.
Yeah, well, at least That's one role I don't think Idris Elba could take on. Blade. He couldn't do Blade. That's one role he could not do.
No, but Mahershala Ali, I think, is going to be fine for it.
Yes, he's going to be great.
So, yeah.
He's going to be fantastic. I'm trying to be positive. It's not working out for me very well. It's coming out deadpan. He's going to be awesome.
Miss doesn't do positive.
I love him. I was positive in my video on my channel today.
Yes, you've been doing pretty good on putting a couple videos out this week. I was glad to see that. So, well, I think I'm good with the Blade stuff. Unless you have anything you want to add, anybody?
Well, as pointed out, Blade's not going to be till phase 5.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing I'm going to say about the age thing, I'm not sure why they picked somebody who's 45, considering we'll be lucky if we see this Blade before the next 3 or 4 years. And that I know for a fact, too, probably. Now, we may see him in another movie pop up sooner, but as far as the actual Blade movie, it's just weird that they wouldn't want to go with a much younger actor, especially considering he's not that much younger than Wesley. And basically, from what I know, things kind of broke down behind the scenes because basically Disney and Marvel were never going to allow Snipes to play Blade again. It just wasn't going to happen. They wanted to offer him the Whistler role, but I guess he got all diva behind the scenes. And then in the meantime, Mahershala Ali talked to Kevin Feige because obviously he already worked with Marvel, said he was interested in the role. They gave him a part. Some people are upset because Mahershala did not go to Wesley first and talk to him at all, of course. And Marvel made the decision before ever kind of getting anything in stone with Wesley because they're continually, they still want to offer him the Whistler role. There's more to it, I'm sure. But as I said, they were expecting to hear Wesley say something to the press this week. He did. He played ball enough that I think it's still on the table that he could end up doing this. So that's not out of the question. Now, what is out of the question is this is not going to be an R-rated Blade.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, folks, that's not going to happen.
What?
Kevin Feige already said that.
Yeah.
He said it's going to be PG-13 and you're going to like it. But from what I've heard behind the scenes, they're going to go as hard PG-13 as they can. And let's face it, Blade back what it is then compared to now, most of that's going to get away with a PG-13 except for all the swearing.
Yeah.
That's really the only thing that's stopping it from being a PG-13 movie in most cases.
Mm-hmm.
So don't let that like freak everybody out because I do know some of the people that they are trying to work with and I trust some of those people. So there are people I know that are close to the situation. I'm not going to say how or what or where because I don't want to give anything away, obviously. Mm-hmm. Because they would kill me if I did. But basically, they're close enough to the situation that there are a lot of people, much like other things that we report on, and this is how we get our sources,
mm-hmm.
that weren't happy about how the whole Wesley Snipes thing went down.
Tom's verbal NDA.
Made me very sad.
But as I said, Wesley handled this properly, considering how much of a diva he is behind the scenes. As much as we all love him, it's well documented that it's more than likely true that he probably did get all diva behind the scenes.
Yeah, I don't doubt that he got all diva behind the scenes. He's the type.
He's notorious for it. And in Blade 3, it shows.
Yeah.
I got the entire movie of Blade 3 he spent in his trailer smoking dope, and when they could get him, he did that entire movie stoned. Well, he did pretty much any movie stoned, I'm sure, but that movie he was really stoned and they could hardly get him to do anything, and he was trying to take over the movie. But anyway, Sister Harrow, it is possible because they let a lot of blood and stuff you can get by and get away with a lot of stuff in a PG-13 nowadays.
Was Venom PG-13?
No, but they did a PG-13 version of the second film. Or I mean, I was thinking Deadpool, but Venom was shot as an R-rated, but they made it PG-13. But that I'm not sure the whole reasoning behind that. There's a lot of reasons that we could get into. That's a whole other rabbit hole.
The PG-13 Deadpool 2 went okay. It can be done, I think. I don't think it's the best route. I think for a Blade movie, you should go rated R, but I think it isn't going to be all bad as long as they push it right at that line, right? Like right to that line. I don't know. Marvel's hard stance on no R-rated movies seems silly.
It's not really a stance so much as, here's the thing. If it's going to be in the MCU, I guarantee you it's probably going to be PG-13.
Mm-hmm.
It's just chances are, if it's going to be related to, forget the Netflix shit. That was Jeff Loeb and all that kind of shit over there doing their thing. That is this Blade casting also makes the Netflix shows basically non-canon now. And even though people don't want to believe it, S.H.I.E.L.D's been non-canon since the beginning anyway. That's the thing. TV will never affect the Marvel universe, but the Marvel universe can affect the TV shows. That's the deal. They can reference the movies, but they will never, ever, ever, ever affect anything in the overall scheme of things. So, regardless, there's only one time that S.H.I.E.L.D. ever really sank up with the movies, and that was when, what was it, Winter Soldier, I think it was, when Nick Fury's like, they asked where he got the helicarrier from. He's like, an old friend. Well, he got it from, they show that in the show. So, anyway, that's like the only time it's ever really mattered. Deadpool, though, they're going to just keep Deadpool basically the way it is, release it under Fox. It's just not going to connect. I doubt we'll ever see any direct connection with the MCU outside of fourth wall jokes.
Probably. I agree.
With Deadpool. They'll keep Deadpool kind of its own thing. And then, yeah, it'll play out with like 2 or 3, maybe 4 more movies at the most, and I doubt that. It'll maybe be 1 more. So yeah, this Blade thing though, I'm going to be keeping everybody up to date as much as I can when I find things out. I'm not happy about a lot of the things either, but I'm trying to keep an open mind, knowing some of the things I know, even though I can't say everything. But yeah, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
That's all I have. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add to it.
This day started out with, I'm going to try and be positive, and ended with, I hate this. I hate that. I hate everything. I hate everything. J.J. Abrams should get blown up.
Well,
I'm not encouraging anybody to do that. No illegal stuff, people. Murder is illegal.
But I think we've
It
beat
needs to look like an accident.
To death. What do you say, ladies? Why don't we put a cork in this? Megs, welcome to the show. You've been a pleasure to have here, even though you've been a little quiet. I know you're kind of trying to work your way in. You don't want to interrupt.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It's all good. No, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Did you have any further feelings on Blade other than that, or anything else on the show before you wanted to plug your channels and all your other wares?
No, I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy you guys have me, and I'm just excited for the future of being with you guys and future talks and discussions and being with you ladies and Tom. So
yes, definitely check out Meg's channel and all the stuff that she does. It's really cool. She has a puppet for a brother, folks.
Yeah, so I mean, it's got to be interesting at the least. So,
who apparently needs a puppet too.
Yeah, we're not going to get into that. All the stuff's in the description where you can find the ladies' channels and all that kind of stuff. Miss, tell them where they can find you.
Guys, I'm Miss Sarcastic Nerd, but you can call me Miss. I have a channel. I did a video today. You can find me as Miss Sarcastic Nerd. I mean, it's pretty damn obvious I just said it. You can find me on Twitter at Ms. Sarcastic Nerd, because you can't fit the whole thing in there, which made me very sad. Follow me, subscribe to me, like my videos, or feel my wrath.
I love how Miss.
Yes. She gets accidentally strong sometimes, so be careful. Sorry, what'd you say, Mary?
She's just like, she just threatens everybody, go now or die.
Right.
That's all I have.
Well, you also have content.
Right? And
I have the ability to scare people.
Well, what I think is funny is like you look totally adorable and you sound adorable, and then like you're like threatening like the next second. It's like when you get bit by a puppy and it hurts. But then
you're not mad at the puppy.
Exactly. Well, yeah, because you can't get mad at a puppy.
Who could be
There's no
mad
way
at
you
that
can't
face?
get mad
Until
about
it-
it.
Until it rips your throat out.
Wow, man.
Well, when it gets that big, then it's not really a puppy. Usually not a puppy. Usually not a puppy.
I'm a really, really, really aggressive puppy.
I guess. Finally, but last but not least, of course, the Mecca of Mayhem. I should say, not Mecca, because Mecca's not here. That's sad. The Mistress of Mayhem is what I'm trying to say. If I could actually talk for a minute, there's too many fucking M's. Why do we have too many M's on here?
Goddamn! Oh, with the goddamn fucking
The
M.
Mistress of Mayhem herself, our master of mistress of ceremonies, I guess it would be, Mary Mayhem. Thank you so much, as always, for leading us through this week of just garbage. It seems like endless garbage.
Right? Complete craziness. Yeah, guys. I'm sorry about the rants today. I know I went off the rails, but I've just had it to the top. But yes, I am Mary B. I am the Mistress of Mayhem. You can find me over on my channel, Mary Mayhem. I will do my best to bring you decent content. I put something out just about every day. If it's not a video, it's a live stream. So come over and check me out. I am an official Whammon card holder. So yeah.
I still haven't printed that out. I have a card too. I just haven't gotten it. What's a legal term I can use?
Have yet to copy and print it out, laminate it.
I can't remember the damn word I was looking for. Something intelligent and smart sounding.
No,
We all know that. I
Tom,
would just confuse the audience if I was smart.
getting confused with Mecca is literally the highlight of my day. So
It wasn't even that. It was just the M word, really. And it's been a long day. I've been up since 5 o'clock this morning. So,
Well, you can just number us if you'd like.
I like to come up with 20 more excuses, but it doesn't matter. I fired
M1, M2,
Dibs on 3. Dibs on 3.
M437.
I want to be number 3.
So you won't see me next time, folks. I fired myself.
It'll just be Mary.
No, I don't have access to the channel. So
No, I'll work it out.
He'll fix it up. I know he will.
Well, thank you so much for having me, guys, and for having me, Tom. I appreciate it.
Well, of course, you ladies are the stars of the show, as always. And we want to thank you guys out there for spending this time with us, as always, every week here on Midnight's Edge After Dark, where we let the freaks loose and just let it all happen, because why not? Where the women can just say whatever they want and don't have to worry about it. You can sit around like Al Bundy with your hand in your pants and do whatever you want. The toxic femininity, folks.
Also, if you interrupt us again, Tom, we're going to have to hurt you.
I'm sure, and you will. But sometimes I like it. It depends on my mood. But anyway, I've overtalked the outro music. Take care, everybody. Thanks again.